June 2nd's Delanco Township Committee Meeting located here at 770 Cooperstown Road. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mrs. Patrick. Here. Mr. McFadden.
Here.
Mr. Olet is absent, and Ms. Seuss.
Here, thank you. Also present, Mr. Fox, our Township Engineer, Mr. Heinhold, our Solicitor, Mrs. Lohr, Municipal Clerk, Mrs. Russell, Deputy Municipal Clerk, Mr. Fenimore, and Mr. Warren, our Police Chief. Please rise for the flag salute.
Aye.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sunshine and live stream statements, please.
Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and BCT and Courier Post and published in the Burlington County Times on the February 23rd, 2025 edition and in the Courier Post on February 25th, 2025 edition. Written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. The streaming of this meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under the Open Public Meetings Act, and if the technology is disrupted for any reason, the Township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accordance with the official notice.
Okay. Township Committee will have an executive session after the meeting tonight, so we will be moving pretty quickly through our agenda. Just a heads up there. So please take a minute to silence all your cell phones, and I will read the rules governing public comment period in accord with and subject to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. During general public comment periods, the Delanco Township Committee is permitted to institute reasonable rules and regulations to allow for a smooth process and ensure a reasonable opportunity to be heard. Calling out from the audience outside of one's time at the microphone is disruptive to the person speaking at the microphone or to the committee member speaking from the dais and will not be permitted. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to speak and should limit comments to the matter at hand. The speaker will be directed to conclude their remarks once the speaker's time has expired. No time may be yielded to a speaker by another speaker. Groups are asked to select a spokesperson to speak on their behalf. Speakers will address the Township Committee from the podium and are asked to begin their remarks with their name and address for the record. Township Committee members are not obligated to answer impromptu questions or address remarks from members of the public during the public comment period. Speakers should expect the Township Committee to refrain from engaging in a dialogue, except to the extent necessary to clarify the speaker's comment. The allotted time for speaking from the podium is the method to address the Township Committee during the public comment period. The Township Committee will not entertain questions or comments called out from the audience during public comment or at any time. Speakers and members of the public should at all times maintain proper decorum and shall make their comments in a civil manner. Personal attacks, obscenity, derogatory, or slanderous remarks will not be tolerated. Okay, we have ordinance 2025-7, authorizing grant of easement to New Jersey American Water for township property between intersection of Buttonwood Street and Rancocas Road and Rancocas Creek. This is a second reading by title only and public hearing. Hearing is now open to the public for ordinance 2025-7 only. Meeting is now closed to the public. Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-7?
Second, just one correction. Can we change Rancocas Road to Rancocas Avenue?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, motion by Kate, second by Matt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes.
Mrs. Patrick.
Yes.
Mr. McFadden.
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes, thank you. Meeting is now open to the public for comments and questions on agenda items only. This is session 1. Please come to the podium and state your name and address, please.
I'm going to put myself in the eye with this thing. Good evening again. Mike Temple of 621 Delaware. I just wanted to make some comments on a resolution 2025-88, township resolution against the New Jersey PACT program. The NJ PACT was started back in 2020, and that incorporates both the inland flood protection rules that went into effect back in 17 and the pending RJ Real Rules, Resilient Environment Landscapes. Just as a spectator on this, I attend a lot of the meetings over the last decade or 15 years. Been involved in that, various things, post-Sandy, after Tropical Storm Ida and so forth, and all the no-name storms. And so these regulations really came out of the last 20 years of experience that this state has had. And so a lot of groups have been involved in that. I think some 200 meetings were held with various stakeholders, public meetings, municipal officials, builders, environmental groups of every stripe to develop these rules. And a lot of worldwide experience has gone into this, and it's all pretty much validated. The curves are going up. We're experiencing climate change every day, every year, with the usual oscillations that do occur naturally. But it's something that we're seeing. I mean, this state, this county has experienced major flooding events in Mount Holly, in Lumberton, Medford Lakes, up the river, Lambertville, New Hope have gotten wiped out several times. And we're seeing these dramatic increases, and it's a whole combination of factors that go into this, much more than the 5 minutes allows for, and I'm certainly not an expert and not, but I've been in the room and been on Zoom and attend a lot of these things, both for the township and other things I'm involved in. And it's, yeah, it's a big jump. It's a big change. These are dramatic and very forward-thinking regulations that the DEP is proposing, and it's a big change. And we got to stop replacing things that get destroyed by storms. It's better to build something that can handle bad weather. It can handle a storm surge. It can handle recurring flooding, rather than pay for the insurance, the higher insurance costs that we're all dealing with. My homeowner's insurance has gone up 40% in the last 5 years. We're all paying for it, whether it's fires in California and tornadoes in Oklahoma, or hurricanes in Florida, or the storms we experience here. So it's incumbent for our society to really understand that this is real, and it will affect us. It is affecting us. And the sooner we acknowledge that and get ahead of it and build for the future, we will be saving money, we will be saving lives, and we will be building smart. So I had a lot more, but rather than get myself twisted up, I'll leave it at that. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Todd Burke, 1506 2nd Street. I just wanted to comment on that resolution as well as 2025-93, if it's the appropriate time, which first of all, I note that for the record that I have copies of both draft first reading of the resolutions. Not sure if anyone else does, even in YouTube land. But my question about 93 is that, in part, several whereases down the road here, it says mutually agreed to amend the agreement of sale to adjust the closing date, et cetera, et cetera. But it doesn't give a closing date. And my question is, since that seemed to be handled very smoothly, I'm wondering why it is that the date can't be adjusted, or if has been considered to be adjusted, to December the 1st, so that therefore we can have the referendum on the November ballot as opposed to a special referendum. And I think it is really a good idea, maybe not required, but nonetheless a very good idea, that when these important resolutions are presented, either as the first draft on a first reading or thereafter, that they be published in full and distributed in full in every way imaginable. And that's my comment tonight for 2025-93.
Thank you. Anyone else? Did you want to make any comments, Mr. Heinhold?
Do you want to do it now or?
Sure, we can do it now.
Sure. What we've addressed this previously, I know I talked about it at the last meeting. We are under an obligation under that agreement to pursue closing. And the current closing date was targeted as June 10th with the possibility to extend to July 1st. The seller has not asked for an additional compensation to move for this amendment, but they have development approvals in place and they are ready to proceed with their development if they cannot, if this transaction is not going to go through. So the township, there is no agreement or consensus between the parties to simply extend December 1st. And I think that is pretty obvious and reasonable of the seller under the circumstances. If there's any other questions or issues you want me to address, Mayor?
We've already ordered the special election, so that's kind of moving forward already. That's not really up for debate or discussion. That's how the township is proceeding.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, but there was a mandate for a special election under the circumstances.
Right, I agree. I believe their tenant is pretty much out of that building, so moving forward from June 1st on, they're not collecting any rent on that property. They will continue to have to maintain it, and that is an additional cost and loss of revenue for them. So I think they are being professional in how they're handling this, and if I was them, I wouldn't wait until December either. So that's all I have to say on that. Anyone else want to comment on anything? Anyone else for public comment on agenda items? I'll close session 1 and move on to comments and reports from our professionals. Mr. Fox, did you want to start?
Sure. Okay. I have a few items to go over. First off, on the private developments, the Mid-Atlantic Logistics Center, over by where Dietz and Watson used to be. They did start on their final phases 2 and 5. The building is up and they're working on site work. They did install a berm that wasn't on the approved grading plan, so I asked them to send me revised plans so I can review that to make sure it's not going to be a drainage problem. They had extra soil and they tried to lose it in a berm along the street, which was not an approved plan. So I'm asking for new plans, and I'll review those and
Bless you.
we could approve that administratively if it's not going to cause a problem. The crossings, the developer he sent me an email today indicating that he's going to ask to have his basins put on a separate bond and release the rest of the development. We've done that in the past in other developments, and I don't know, did he send that to you, Janice?
I did not receive that.
Okay, the process, he has to submit that to the clerk, that request to the clerk.
Okay.
And he said he did in his email to me, but, so that's coming up, and that's something we'll have to think about, whether we want to. We don't have to do that.
No, but how about the punch list items, other than the basins? Have they all been satisfied?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, so what this would do is this would start basically that process of getting everything else finished to our satisfaction, and then we would release that bond, and they post a new bond just for the basin work.
Right, okay.
All right, one question. There seems to be a gigantic spool of wire at the crossings as you go in there. It's been sitting there since they were built. I don't know whose it is, but I mean, it's a gigantic thing of wire.
On
So
which-
it's gotta be either the development in the back or the crossing.
Which entrance is it on? Where's it at? Yeah.
It's right out front.
It's right at Ron
Can't
Street,
miss it.
Harry. Ron
Yeah.
Street.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can't miss it. It's been there for as long as,
I must just drive right past it, because I am.
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. The 2024 local aid, that, as you know, was awarded to Paving Plus. We have worked with Paving Plus in town several times and in other towns. They're the ones actually, I believe, did Second Street. So it's, that, we're right in the process of getting contracts together for that. They have to get their bonds together. We'll have a pre-construction meeting probably next week. I'll send out an email, or Alex will send one out, seeing what dates everyone is available for the pre-construction meeting on that. And then construction should start within the next few weeks after that. The Zubro Waterfront Park, gazebo is going to get started this week. It is in. They were going to do it last week, but the rain shut everything down. So they're anticipating coming in this week to install that. First off, they put the footings in, and then this pad goes in, and they'll build the gazebo. They also, the railing that's going to go on top of the seawall, that's being delivered on Friday. Clem's, the manufacturer, is going to stay with them all day Friday, and they're going to install a portion of it. They don't want to install the whole thing until the project is almost done, because they don't want any damage to happen to it during construction. But they want to make sure that they're on the same page and they're doing everything correctly, and Clem's will supervise them all day Friday, installing a portion of that. So that'll be up, and you'll at least be able to see what it looks like, and the rest of it will go up when, as I said, when the project is mostly complete.
And they're going to store that in a box truck and keep it at Public Works, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. John, you're aware of that, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. Can we ask them to cut the grass down a little bit just in the meantime? It's getting pretty high out there.
Yeah, because they're getting to the point where they need to grade it anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll get them to clean that up.
Are they pouring tomorrow?
They are supposed to, yes.
Good. We have a good week of weather, so.
Yeah, they're moving along pretty well, actually. They have their foundations dug for the lights. Unfortunately, they all filled up with
Yeah.
water at the last storm, so that's got to dry out a little bit, but in a couple of days, that should be ready to go as well.
Do we have a date when PSE&G is going to do their install? for the-
I don't, I did leave a message with my contact.
Okay,
I haven't heard back from them, but I will follow up on that.
okay, great, so we're progressing.
The CDBG 2024 grant, contractor was supposed to start today. He brought some equipment out, and then I think he dropped some materials off at Public Works. And there was an issue with the markouts. The markouts weren't completed. He's blaming the markout company. He said he called it in and it didn't get done. His story is that somebody from the markout company had a death in the family and things got lost and it didn't get marked out. So he called a new one in and trying to expedite that. As soon as that mark out is done, he's going to start over on Goucher and Memorial, that area first.
It's on the side. The side.
But I'll keep everyone by email apprised of what's happening with that. The Union Avenue boat ramp, I put it on your desk, conceptual plan and a photograph. What we're proposing to do is extend the paving portion out 30 feet with concrete. And after that, that's what this picture is. It's called a geocell or a geoweb. It's a material you can put down, and it's mainly used for like emergency access because you can fill it with anything you want. And the reason for that is we're going to excavate the existing material, put the geoweb down, and then use that in situ material, the virgin material, back in place. And that's the most environmentally friendly way to do it. If need be, we may have to put some planning in there to call it a living shoreline. They're not going to last, but at least for approval purposes. And that will be, it's actually H20 loaded, so it can hold regular highway vehicles for the strength of it. And we're going to go all the way out. What we're proposing is to go out to the low water line. We can't go past the low water line because then they're really going to get after us about the freshwater mussels. So we're showing it going to the low water line, which is about, well, it's 97 feet plus the 30, so it's 120 feet out, and it'll be 30-foot wide.
So this geofencing is going to go 120 feet out?
From the existing where the asphalt ends now,
Okay,
it'll be 30 feet
97.
wide.
of concrete and then 97 feet dirt.
And that just gets backfilled with dirt?
Yeah, that'll get backfilled with the dirt we take out.
river
The
stuff,
sand
yeah.
that we take out, we'll put it right back in. And again, the state may want us to put plants in there, or if we dig up any freshwater mussels, they would go back in, they'll just go right back in place. Essentially what it's doing is just, it's giving you stability that you'll be able to drive any vehicles out to,
You won't fall in the mud?
go fall in the mud, unless you drive off of it. So I don't know how good the guys are at backing up boats, but,
Okay.
Good.
but it's 30 feet wide, so it's wide as a street, so.
Yeah, it's good.
I'd like to share this with the fire chief, since he's the one who would have the boats out there. I'll run this by Scott and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and any comments or suggestions, feel free. But we will be, I'll wait to hear from you on that, Matt, and then I'm going to send it to DEP and Army Corps for a preliminary informal review, just to make sure they say there's no way we're gonna let you do this, or, yeah, it looks good, or see what their comments are. On the discussion list, Mayor, is the DOT 2026. You want me to talk about that now?
Sure.
We looked at the roads in town, and it's getting more and more difficult to get a road that really meets a good criteria to get the maximum amount of money for the grant. But we did look at, and I think it's a good option, is Hickory Street. You know, we have that drainage problem.
Yep.
The pipes are bad. And we just did, well, going to be starting, but we got the last year's grant to do Walnut Street up to Hickory. So this is next to a school, next to a playing field. It's connecting the previous project, and we're going to call it a safety issue. That the pipe could collapse, and so that gives you more points when it's a safety issue involved. And I think it's a pretty good
Okay.
chance we'll get the maximum amount of money for that.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and we did a rough estimate, and it would come in about to what we would normally apply for.
200,000 to 300,000 range?
Yeah, it's going to be probably somewhere around the exactly 250, 300.
Yeah, good.
So if everyone is okay with that, we can move on, and we'll prepare a resolution. We have another month for the resolution. It doesn't have to be done before the application is done, but it's nice to get it done as part of the application.
I'm good with that. Everybody else?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good
So we could
project.
have we could have the resolution on for the July 23rd meeting.
Yeah, the June, yeah.
June, I'm sorry, June.
Yep, and then we'll have the application ready for the July 1st deadline.
Sounds good.
And that's all I have, Mayor.
What do we do about the tree roots in Hickory?
Well, that's, we're going to address this. We cut them out once, but they're going to come back.
Because that's got to be addressed before it gets really bad in there.
We're going to replace that whole pipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
The pipe needs to be replaced. Every joint is,
And we would get the funding through that DOT grant for that?
Yeah, that'd be
Yep.
great.
Great. Good plan.
I had one last thing, Mayor, we did meet, as you know, yourself and Mr. Bartlett. We met with the police department, and we met with PSA&G for their gas line replacement program. They're scheduled to start next Monday, and they're going to start over by Orchard and Walter, Vine, Cedar, that section over there first. They're figuring that's going to take them about a week to get just the main in.
Right.
And how it works, for in case anybody needs to know, they install the main first, and then they come back and replace all the services, including if you have a meter that's inside your house. By law, they have to locate it outside of your house now. So if you know anybody in town, because it's going to be town-wide, this
Yeah,
replacement program. So if your meter is in the house, you're going to have to have it relocated to the outside. Public service does it, but they have to do that.
And they actually, I talked to Devin, he's the supervisor over the project who was doing Kazoo Street, and I went out and talked to him because the markout's on Rancocas, and I'm having a driveway put in, and he's gonna stop to see me Monday because that's the vicinity of where they're starting, but they didn't list Rancocas.
Yeah, they're not
They're
doing
not.
it.
Yeah, you're not.
Rancocas.
You're not gonna do it this year?
They're not gonna do it at all. They already have high pressure. This
Yeah,
is
you're
install
good.
high
Because
pressure.
but my meter is in my house.
Oh, the meter, that's another story. At some point in time, they're gonna come to you and say, you have to replace your meter. But that's
Right.
not part of this project.
Okay, good, but they have to dig outside to do that.
Yeah,
You have to dig a hole in your yard to do
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
So I just want to make sure when I put my driveway in that it's beyond that. It'll be beyond that, I
yeah,
guess.
it's in the street. You should be
Yeah,
good.
'cause I'm sure you called for a markout, so you know. what
Yeah,
it
the
is.
markout's there,
So,
yeah,
um,
okay,
Yeah, that'll be done, that's just under a separate program.
okay.
And then homeowners will get notified via email, phone call, door hangers, letting them know when the construction's going to start and they have to move their vehicles.
Right.
And we're going to get a map out to all the residents as well, once we get that from PS.
Yes, township will post as well. All right, thank you, Harry. Mr. Heinhold, anything to report?
I just want to briefly mention the affordable housing process that we're in. The planning board is meeting tomorrow night. They are having the public hearing on the fourth round housing element and fair share plan. That addresses our state mandated need of 50 units. As I've discussed at previous meetings, because of prior planning and actions by the township, we are going to be able to address that without the need for new construction, either inclusionary or 100% affordable. And Mary Beth Lonergan has issued a draft plan. The board is anticipated to act on that tomorrow night. Once they act on that at our, I guess it's June 23rd meeting, we will have a resolution to endorse that affordable housing element. And because, again, of a surplus of units and affordable housing trust fund money, we are in a position to negotiate with current properties who may need some long-term, HVAC or other substantial investments in their property. We can supply money that is of no cost to the taxpayer through the trust fund, and gain extensions on existing controls to further benefit the municipality in terms of its affordable housing compliance. So if anybody has any interest in that issue, I believe Mary Beth Lonergan is going to be there tomorrow night at the meeting, or somebody from her office, to go over the elements of that. But the township, again, is in a very good position relative to affordable housing. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. We're not going to do township administrator because Mr. Schwab's on vacation. Lucky him. All right, department heads. Mr. Fenimore.
Yes, good evening. We picked up 60 cubic yards of brush. We picked up, we cut all township properties 4 times. How we did that with all the rain we dodged a lot of it. Put a half a ton of asphalt, and that was mostly on Burlington Avenue, the parade route. We moved 3 trees out at West Avenue that fell over from the wind. We had a real big one fall over today out at the island that blocked the road, but we took care of it. We got all the flags up. We got a lot of flags now.
Looks good.
So we lined the ball fields 11 times. We lined the soccer field 1 time. We delivered 8 yards of cubic mulch to people that bought it. And that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for cleaning up
Yep.
that mess. At West Ave.
I don't know what happened, but when I saw that, that was one heck of a mess.
Yeah. So Recreation cleaned out their shed 20 years' worth of stuff piled up, and Public Works had their dump truck out there for us, so we could put everything in the dump truck, and we spent 4 hours neatly piling everything in the dump truck, and somebody came by and threw it all out last night on the ground, so.
They threw that glitter glue or whatever, that was all over.
Yeah,
at
it was
the-
quite the mess.
It filled just about a half of a dumpster.
Yes.
That
And now we
was
have
quite a bit.
half of a shed open. because
Yeah,
we got
you
rid of
got
everything.
3/4 of a shed.
Yeah, yeah.
And thanks for the guys coming out
Look
that Sunday, a couple Sundays ago, to get rid of that tree that came down on Second Street.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It was a
Great
big
job
one.
getting the town ready for the parade.
Also, when I talk about trees, I waited till, to make sure any other trees needed to come down, I turned them into the shade trees, so I will definitely be going out with the list
Oh, good.
this week. Okay?
Yeah.
Great.
To get the bids.
I was
asking
gonna
for-
wait and see, instead of doing it a month ago, but I was waiting to make sure that there weren't any more dead trees, and so,
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're looking for an updated list. Good.
okay?
Okay, thanks.
Chief Warren?
Good evening, everyone. For the month of May, for our police statistical data, we had a total of 25 police cases. We had 57 motor vehicle violations issued, with a total for the year for 320. Total police cases for 101. We had 193 motor vehicle stops for a total for the year of 801. And for the month, calls for service, we had 1,012. Total for the year, 4,891. So the officers have been very busy. We were able to participate in the parade last week, obviously, with leading and providing security for the side streets. The additional staff helped immensely. Last year, I had to have 4 sheriff's officers come to help out with staffing, and we didn't need that this year. We were able to staff it ourselves, and everything went well. Some hiccups, but they're the normal ones. Also, I'm in the pre-planning stages for having our first ever National Night Out. That'll be on August 4th. So there's more information will be coming in the weeks ahead, but it's looking pretty good. So that's it for now.
Great.
Thank you.
And on that note, just a bit of housekeeping. The August 4th meeting that Township Committee usually has on the first Monday is going to be moved to August 11th so that we can attend the National Night Out community event on the 4th. So mark your calendars for that change. Okay, moving on to, oh, I'm sorry, Janice. Anything to report down there in your department?
Just to let everyone know, if you are a registered Republican or Democrat, we have the primary on June 10th, 2025. Polls open at 6 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. And early voting starts tomorrow, Tuesday, June 3rd, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday, and then Sunday, June 8th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They've added a new location. We've had the Willingboro Public Library at 220 Willingboro Way, but they've also added the Cinnamonson Community Center, 902 Manor Road. There are several other places throughout the county, but the closest ones are the Willingboro Public Library and the Cinnamonson Community Center on Manor Road. So that's for early voting, which starts tomorrow through Sunday. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Janice. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. We are going to remove Resolution 2025-88 from the consent agenda. Anybody have anything else they would like to remove? Okay. Ordinance 2025-8, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the Township of Delanco providing for and determining the rate of compensation of officers and employees. This is the first reading by title only and set public hearing date for June 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. Resolution 2025-87, resolution calling for the restoration of energy taxes to municipalities. Resolution 89, authorizing the purchase of a stand-on commercial mower under a Sourcewell cooperative purchasing contract in accordance with NJSA 40A:11-1 et seq. Resolution 90, authorizing the purchase of a police vehicle under state cooperative purchasing contracts. Resolution 91, authorizing the purchase of security cameras and related equipment and software for Historic Waterfront Park under cooperative pricing agreement. Resolution 92, authorizing assignment of contract from Fitzgerald and Company to ITWise LLC for IT service. Resolution 93, authorizing the execution of a First Amendment to the agreement of sale for the purchase of improved real property at 401 Creek Road, Block 2100, Lot 11. Payment of bills, current fund, $732,711.28. Payroll, $145,561.75. Escrow trust, $1,745.50. Housing trust, $45.75. Grants fund, $2,643.37. Approval of minutes from March 17th and April 7th. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Phil. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. McFadden?
Yes.
And Ms. Seuss?
Yes. Okay, so we are going to table Resolution 2025-88, and we're going to move the discussion of it to the discussion items momentarily after public comment. Any correspondence to report?
I have none.
Okay, meeting's going to be open to the public for comments and questions. This is session 2. If you'd like to come up to speak on any general matters, please state your name and address for the record. Meeting is open to the public.
Zaire Carter, 19 Fawn Court. Good afternoon, Delanco Township Committee. First and foremost, I just wanted to thank you for your steadfast commitment to Delanco and to your ongoing dedication to public service. While I may not be an elected official, I also do work in public service, and I do appreciate all that you've done and all that you continue to do for the residents of this community. As we all know, the proposed purchase of 401 Creek Road is poised to be a central topic of discussion in our community over the coming months, and that's where I'd like to begin. I'd first like to start by saying that I fully understand and respect the perspectives of those who support the purchase. The appeal of acquiring land as a long-term asset for the township vision of opportunity and growth, these are not inconsequential arguments. However, I also do not believe that there is a single person in this room or in Delanco who does not want to see our town succeed or to thrive or to prosper. Our visions may differ, but our hopes for this community are shared. All right, our divergence lies not in our desire for progress, but rather in our beliefs about the best path to achieve it. It's important to acknowledge the genuine concerns residents have raised, chief among them the impact on taxes. Now, we already know that there's going to be a $104 increase in the municipal tax, which is completely separate and unrelated to the purchase of 401 Creek Road. Additionally, that 401 figure does not include any bond-related costs such as the rate, and I understand why we don't have that figure. While also the current school bond does not increase taxes, I'm not sure if that may hold true in future years, and according to the presentation that was given here a few weeks ago, the 401 purchase will also result in a property tax increase described as minimal. Now, I believe it's worth acknowledging that what is minimal for one person may be significant for another. And when these tax increases are considered not in isolation, but rather in conversation and relation with each other, I think they begin to accumulate. And understandably, that accumulation gives residents cause for concern. I have to admit, I'm also a bit surprised about some of the responses that I've heard to some of these concerns, especially the idea of, well, I guess, your taxes are going to go up anyway, so might as well. That seems like a pretty bold take. To me, if people are already worried about higher taxes, the answer isn't to simply pile on another one and speed things up. There are both short-term and long-term effects to this purchase. It might not directly impact us tomorrow or next week or even this year, but what about the next year or the year after that? One thing that we do know for sure is that costs only go up. And these concerns are not theoretical, they are real, and they are felt deeply by residents across Delanco. At Thursday night's town hall, I had the privilege of speaking with a woman who shared with me her reason for signing the petition to bring about the people's referendum on July 29th. I've spoken with many residents across Delanco about the potential purchase of 401, but her reason struck a different chord with me. She said that she signed the petition not for herself, but because she didn't want her friends or her neighbors, people who she knows, people who she cares about, to be priced out of Delanco. And I thought, what a remarkable expression of empathy. I mean, at a time when it's easy to focus on how a decision might affect me, here was someone that was thinking of others. And it reminded me why my mom chose to move us here nearly 20 years ago. It's because of this community, right? Because Delanco is a place where we look out for one another. This town has never been defined merely by the parcels of land that it owns or the value of its assets, but rather the strength and the integrity and the kindness of its people. The people are the heartbeat of this town. You know, when I was young and stubborn, or should I say, I'm still pretty stubborn, so when I was just young, and my mom was bugging me to do something, I would always tell her, I would say, Mom, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. And my mom would reply, I know you hear me, but are you listening? And lately I've been challenging myself to do more than just to hear people in order to respond, but I've been working on at least trying to listen in order to understand. And I do understand why many are inspired by the possibilities that this land could offer, what it might become for Delanco's future. But I have to ask, if pursuing that vision comes at the expense of some of our most vulnerable, if the very people that this project is meant to serve end up being potentially priced out and unable to remain in town, can we truly call that progress?
Thank you for your comments. It's over 5 minutes. Just want to let you know.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Can I have the courtesy of being able to conclude my remarks?
How much longer do you have?
45 seconds.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Can we in good conscience call that progress? Can we in good faith say that that's the right path for Delanco? And that's a question that each of us is meant to answer for ourselves, and it's one that I've been reflecting on deeply in recent weeks. I'd like to close with a quote from a national treasure and a personal hero of mine, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said that everybody can be great because anybody can serve. I believe Dr. King understood, as we all do, that true leadership is not measured by the titles that we hold or the offices that we occupy, but rather the service that we give, the voices that we uplift, and the people that we stand up to protect. And you don't have to agree with me. All I ask is that you listen with respect, and seek to understand, just as I have sought to understand you. Thank you to the committee for your time, for your efforts, and I do look forward to the people's referendum on July 29th. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? Meeting is closed to the public. Okay. So we have already covered the discussion item for the municipal aid grant for DOT. Okay, so we are moving on to the proposed ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 295 Vehicles and Traffic of the Township of Delanco, amending the municipal code for the prohibition of engine braking or J-braking, as it may be known to some. Let's pull that up here. Okay, so I was contacted by a resident a while ago that lives on Cooperstown Road, and then he contacted me again recently, having some issues with some J-braking, obviously some noise near the lumber factory area, but just in general. So he had asked if we could put up some signs to ask the tractor trailer drivers to not use their engine braking, which I learned really should only be used in like an incline situation. Is that correct, Chief? Is that how you know it?
I'm a truck driver, so
Okay.
I want to ask.
So when I looked into it, we actually need an ordinance on our books to prevent that and to enforce that. So I asked Mr. Heinhold to do that, and he has done so. So it's typically used for safety on long, steep grades, which are not characteristic of our relatively flat topography in township, and its general use is not necessary for our typical road safety in town. So proposing this ordinance to establish unifying prohibition of engine braking within our jurisdiction, and then to authorize enforcement and signs that are consistent with New Jersey law. Anybody have anything they want to talk about?
I've seen a number of our neighboring communities and communities along the waterfront have, I don't know about their ordinances, they at least have signs up for no jake braking, engine braking. And
Yeah.
I think it would help the resident, I know exactly who it is because he has concerns every year, and it
Yeah.
would show him that we're moving forward.
Actually, it's a different resident.
Oh, is
It's
it?
another one, yeah.
Oh, that's good. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, especially because of all the, the increased truck traffic we've had, and it doesn't affect everybody's quality of life. I'm sure the crossings hears it, News Landing hears it, so I think it's the least we can do to find a balance. So violations proposed, first offense is $100, $200 for second and subsequent offenses. And if they did have to use their engine brake, they'd have to prove why and why it was necessary. I don't know how that makes your job easier or not, but
It honestly doesn't make it hard, because we're gonna have another problem that we always do. We're not there to hear that.
right,
So when they call and say that a truck did so, they're gonna have to come to the station and sign a complaint,
yeah,
which they refuse to do.
right,
Or we'll get calls a day later or a week later. The one resident that Kate was referring to historically would call or send an email prior to leaving the country, about something that happened weeks prior. So again, the enforcement of it, unless we actually witness it, yeah, of course, then
Right.
we can cite right on scene. But more often than not, it'll be a call that we receive, and for the enforcement of it, they're gonna have to come sign a complaint because they witnessed it.
yeah. So my hope is that the signs might be a deterrent to them.
If it's happening.
Yeah, well,
I'm not
apparently
saying-
it is, because he's
One
brought it up
person-
to me a couple times, so.
I'm sure, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if
Again,
it's
they
just they're
never-
coming
they
around
never-
that
they never-
bend.
But they never call us.
I think they have signs.
They don't call
outside
they don't call the
parking
police.
lots.
Because
Yeah.
what is the purpose of calling you? That's one of the problems. They're calling the
First, but he
mayor.
wanted a sign more than anything, so,
Right, but if it's enforcement of traffic, they should be contacting the
Yeah.
police. They
Yeah.
call everyone but who they should be calling.
oh, don't we
We
know
deal with this all
that?
the time. You gotta refer them to call the police. Non-emergency number, you don't have to call 911, 461-01-151. I mean, they can call, and we
Yes.
can respond, but they,
That
calling
number
you is
is
not gonna help.
given to Facebook on a daily basis, when
Well,
people go to
on the
Facebook to
website, it's-
complain.
It's all over. It's free.
Well, at the same time, though, Chief, if they did call right now, you wouldn't be able to enforce anything.
No, but I'm saying, but they don't call at all.
Right.
Right.
So calling you does
Correct.
nothing, Matt.
Right,
But at least you can give them the process by telling them. they have to
Exactly.
come in and file a complaint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can walk them through it.
Right,
But calling you,
exactly.
it doesn't do
It's
that.
not that difficult.
Then we're playing emails and whatnot. And
Right.
again, now it's a week later. So that they call us, we can run you through it, and it's a lot easier. Or even that, they can call and give us a time frame. Then I can have an officer do directed patrol.
yeah,
There's a lot of stuff we can do when we're told.
sure. Well, at least this gives us the teeth to enforce it and install signs on the county roads. Once we have this, John, we're good to go, right?
What you gotta do, as soon as we put the signs up, we gotta send it to the county where they're at and when they were put up. And then they'll sign off on them.
Okay.
Okay. So can we consider this as first reading, Doug,
Yes, if
and
you're,
set the public hearing date for?
Now, where are we gonna put them at?
Wherever your heart desires. It's not
No,
my
it doesn't work that
department.
way, though, because it's a county road. No, you gotta,
Wherever
not just
the
where,
problem occurs.
Yeah, I don't know, it's not my department. You guys can figure that out.
I would put them,
They didn't
Put
have
them at the
any
entrance to town on each
questions
county
on
road that's
where they
applicable.
wanted them?
Well, definitely on Coopertown Road along here
I
on
would put them
Burlington
where
Avenue.
Boise Cascade is, where Kennedy is. I would put them right where all the traffic, all the truck traffic is. But definitely put one at Boise Cascade, that's a big problem.
They
It
should,
has been.
they should be put at the entrance to town
Right.
Yeah.
on each of the county roads, because otherwise when they come
Which street
in.
we're putting them on, Coopertown?
Coopertown
Burlington Ave.
and Creek Road, Burlington.
And
Ave.
Burlington Ave. Yeah, so we can talk about that in our Public Works Subcommittee meeting, so we don't have to get hung up on that. But So we can introduce ordinance 2025 dash, which one is it, Janice?
9.
Thank you, 9.
So we do have to read the title again. So it'll be
Yes, I'm going to.
2025-9, an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 295 Vehicles and Traffic of the Township of Delanco Municipal Code for the prohibition of engine braking. This is first reading by title only. Set public hearing date for June 23rd, 2025, 7 o'clock PM.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kate, second by Matt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Ms. Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Mr. McFadden,
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes, thank you. All right. So we are going to go into executive session for an interview. We don't anticipate that we will come back with any business after that. You are more than welcome to stay, but once we come back, we'll probably more than likely just adjourn the meeting. So thank you all for coming, and can I get a resolution for executive session, please?
Yes, that'll be resolution 2025-94. Yes.
Yeah.
2025-94 to go into executive session for personnel matters.
Yes, can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mrs. Patrick,
Yes.
Mr. McFadden,
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes, thank you.
So I believe the township committee is going to adjourn to the conference room, but we'll come back here to adjourn the meeting, the public meeting, after it's finished with its executive session.
Yes,
Yes.
Mayor, would you like me to end the live stream?
yes, please. Thank you, everyone. We're going into executive.